So first of all, I'm going to put this butterfly on here and also some words and birds and mushrooms and stuff like that. Things that you're going to find in the woods. So another time that I was camping, way back when, at that same campground, by the way, that I mentioned earlier, it was actually a campground that was a little further, a little bit ways away from Pinecrest Park itself, because Pinecrest was too expensive. And there was another one, and I can't remember the name of it anymore, but it was one where it was like 50 cents a night, and it was just on the honor system, and you could just pretty much take whatever campsite that you wanted. And in those days, I never bothered with a tent or anything like that because it was California. You knew what the weather was going to be. And so I carried around with me a tube tent that was made out of ripstop nylon or something like that. And just in my pocket, in my back pocket of my shorts, for just in case it rained, which it didn't really do that often. If it back then, in California, if it said the weather was going to be good, you could count on the weather being good. Well, this one night, well, first of all, I had a cat with very, very soft fur, and her name was Daisy. Well, she didn't go with us, of course, but one night, in the middle of the night, I felt what I thought at the time was my cat crawling up on my chest like my cat always did. And in my sleep, I thought, oh, her name was Daisy. Hi, Daisy, and I went to pet her and she was very soft, just like Daisy. And then I realized, no, I'm camping and that's not Daisy. And what is that that had crawled on me? Well, I didn't know. Put a little bird here. I'll have it flying down like this. Little bird here. So I don't know what that animal was. All I know is that it was soft like my cat. So I don't know. It could have been a squirrel, or it was not a raccoon, but because they're a little bit coarser fur. I don't know what that thing was. Maybe it was a skunk or something. But anyway, it crawled right on top of me. So that was an interesting experience. I hope I'm not scaring anybody off from camping. You should definitely do it. I'm still in love with the woods, although our camping style is a little bit different now. We have a small motorhome that we like to take with us. Or take, and it's because, we're older now. I mean, my camping style back then was we would just fill up the car and the backpacks, and I had a little MG midget at the time. So put sleeping bag or backpacks in the trunk, and I had this little trunk carrier that I put the sleeping bags on. And, we'd put the top down, little MG midget convertible. We'd put the top down and just head in a general direction. We usually headed north towards Sonora or, someplace like that. And wherever we happened to end up that night is where we would just pull over and camp. There wasn't a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it back then. But, having kids, of course, changed all that. I tried that one time, and all night long I was sure a murderer was going to come and kill us all because I had this baby now. So, that ended that, and got a tent, and from then on went tent camping. Not so much backpacking anymore. You don't want to I didn't want to backpack with a baby. So we had a tent, and that was fun. Oh, so the first time I took my son camping, he was about, I don't know, 16, 17 months old, something like that. we took him camping, and he was so cute, and I was such a proud mama. And of course, I bought him just like the cutest little camping outfits because your little baby has to be cute while he's camping. So I bought these adorable little camping outfits for him, enough for all that, we were going to be there like 3 days or something, and put these outfits on him, and while we're setting up the tent, I sat him down in the on the ground in his cute little outfit with a pail and a shovel, and he proceeded to take that shovel and fill it up with the dirt that he was sitting on and dump it all over the front of his adorable little camping outfit. So that kind of put an end to that. So, but not quite that soon. So I thought, well, okay, he's got another outfit. So I put on another really cute camping outfit on him and set him down with the same pail and shovel. And he did the exact same thing within like the first minute. So after that, I thought, okay, well, that's not going to work. So I just stripped him down to his diaper and let him sit there and put as much dirt on himself as he wanted to. I have pictures of that, and he's so cute. So anyway, so that was fun. He was actually pretty easy to take camping. And as he got older, I did end up going on a backpacking trip with him when he was about 17. And by that time, we were in Washington. And we went to a place called Anderson-Watson Lakes. And that was really fun. He thought his mom was pretty cool. Then the next step after the tenting style of backpacking was camping rather, was getting a tent trailer, because now 2 kids and they're older. And then, so it was just, too much trouble with the tent. So we got a tent trailer, and that was a lot of fun, because then we had a stove and sink and, stuff like that made camping a little bit more fun for me, where I wasn't having to, cook everything over a fire, which I didn't mind doing. I even had this cute little stovetop espresso maker that I would take with me camping before I had even a tent. And I would sit it on the coals, with a rack. I had this little rack that I would put on top of the fire and set my little espresso pot on top of that and made espresso. Those were the days before, you had espresso shops and things like that, little coffee stands everywhere. Okay, so this little butterfly page isn't done. I think it needs this adorable little girl, don't you? Because every little magical place in the forest needs a little fairy. So what I want to do with this little girl, though, is to give her dress a little bit of color. So I don't know if you have ever used embossing glaze before, but I thought we would go ahead and try that for her dress. So the way I'm going to do this is I've got 3 colors I want to use to kind of go with the butterfly. So I've got this, broken china and fired brick and tattered rose. And I hope it works. And if it doesn't work, well, maybe I just won't put her on there, because it looks pretty enough without it. But let's go ahead and try to put on some of the tattered rose first. And I have this little embossing pen because I want to direct where it goes. And I'm just going to do her dress. Well, actually, I should just go ahead and color the whole thing with this pen because I have to get it done quickly. So I'm going to start with some tattered rose. And just kind of sprinkle a little bit on the bottom of her dress. And then a little bit of fired brick to bring out some of the red tones. And then some of the broken china. And I'm also going to color her hat because I'm going to put some blue up there on her hat. Okay, now I'm going to turn the camera off while I emboss her with my embossing gun. All right, I finished embossing her, and isn't that cute? I just love the way that turned out. So now she really becomes part of that butterfly, doesn't she? So these aren't actual embossing powders like traditional embossing powders are. They're an embossing glaze, which means they're translucent, so you can see the detail underneath her dress. You know, the different folds and stuff. It doesn't cover it up totally. And that's the difference between embossing glaze and embossing powder. So let's put some art glitter glue on her and set her on her butterfly. Give her those wings. There, isn't she precious? She just needs one other little tiny thing, and that is a little bluebird landing on her hand, like so. So that is that one. And I just love that. Okie doke, now we'll set that one aside. So for this one, I have some plans for inside. First of all, I want to put some lace across the top. And I have this lace here. Okay, and on the left-hand side, I have this little phrase, and I'm going to put it on the piece of lace that I forgot to use. It says, happiness is the only good. The place to be happy is here, and the time to be happy is now. And I want to put this pretty lady here. Now, if anybody here is a Maxfield Parrish fan, you will recognize this from one of his paintings. It's called Ecstasy, and it's my favorite Maxfield Parrish work, and I have it hanging up in my craft room, the whole painting. But this came out of a book called Over the Rainbow, and it had all these beautiful Maxfield Parrish paintings, but then it also had the words to Over the Rainbow. So that was at Half Price Books. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it was such a beautiful book. I ended up buying two. Well, for one thing, they were on sale, and for another thing, there were just too many beautiful images. I knew I would want more than one. So in the painting itself, she's standing on top of this mountain looking out at the beautiful blue sky, and she just looks like she's in a total state of happiness. Okay, she looks lovely. And then over on this side, I wanted to have a pocket using another piece of wallpaper. And coordinated. And I have some journal kits in my Etsy shop that have pieces of wallpaper and vintage pages from books, some very old books, and so a bunch of different things. And so they're just perfect for getting started in making a journal. So I encourage you to check that out. I have several in there. Put a little piece of lace here to kind of match with that piece of lace up there. And also a piece of scrap from scrapbook paper that I cut the edge of with a scallop scissor. Put that there. And I have some more cute little birds. Oh, these are cute. I love these right here. It's a nice pocket. And then finishing or getting ready to finish up, I have some of these little fabric leaves. I love seeing these come together so that whoever ends up with this journal will have a surprise every time they turn the page, unless they've watched the video. Then they kind of know what's in there. So I have a friend who posted on one of the Facebook Marketplace sites that she had this sweater for sale, and it had all these beautiful little flowers on it all over the front. All over the front. These flowers that I have right here. So I sent her a message and I said, I want that sweater. And we're not the same size. And she said, it'll never fit you. I said, it's not for me. And she didn't ask any more questions. She just sold me the sweater. And I've been cutting the flowers off of it ever since. I don't know what I'll do with the sweater once there aren't any more flowers on it. Okay, one last finishing touch is this butterfly. It has this thing on the back. But I don't trust the sticky on it. So I'm going to give it a little bit of help. That is everything. So we have this beautiful inside. This is going to be the center signature. So, they won't be able to see the whole thing because there will be pages in it. But so we have this beautiful front and nothing on the back. I think I'll just leave the back plain because the flowers really don't need anything else. I think that's pretty just the way it is. And then we have this with the bird on the front, and you can still see the flower here. And I've got a couple of pockets here made out of leaves and a bunny. And then on the back, our little butterfly girl. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. Okay. And then inside, I'll probably put some belly bands or something like that in there. And then we have this green woodpecker that I've been wanting to use forever. And this is what the back of that one looks like. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm getting a good start on my woodland journal. And I had fun. So I hope you did too. Please, if you did like this, please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you so much. Leave me a comment. I do really appreciate the comments and I answer all of them. And hit the notification bell too, so that you know when I upload new content. So thank you very much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye everybody. And let the serendipity find you. Bye-bye.